So, welcome to the team call, and I am so excited today because we have a brand new month, and not only that, it is, well, I think you guys saw in the post that I posted earlier on. For me, last year it was by a country mile my most successful month of the entire year. And that was absolutely culminated by Team Cup without question. And I think, some of you guys, certainly who are on my Team Cup team, I've spoken to you about that. And essentially, it was super simple. I think most of you guys on this call are in a Team Cup team, and I really hope you are, because you need to register by the end of the month. If at the end of January, if you aren't in one, unfortunately, it is too late. But essentially, our strategy in our team, which was the winning team in the UK, was to just double everything. It was that simple. It was nothing more complicated than that. I certainly got the email as the leader of the captain last year, and I got it this year, and they've got kind of all these details about how you do it and have all these calls and have a call once a week. And I kind of said to Claire, you know what? I don't have time to have a call every week. I don't really want to focus on a call every week because I feel like that's going to pull me away from doing the vitals. So we're just going to have a chat thread, and we're just going to double everything, and we're going to trust in the team that everybody is doing the same. So, I call you to question, some of you guys are newer, and so maybe you don't even know how that looks for you. You don't know what doubling is. But no matter what you have been doing, even as a new coach, I think you can probably get a sense of doubling what you're doing, even if you can't kind of affiliate that to a number, as it were. So, for me, I was a little bit more established. I was probably like a year a coach, and I basically said, I'm going to double my follow-ups and I'm going to double my invites in the month of February. But I will say, the invites, and I'm sure you guys realize that for you guys who've been a coach for a little while longer, realize that actually the invites for the most part are not going to culminate and come into your business until quite a few months down the track. So the invites that you make now, you're going to need to follow up with those guys for maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, a year before they're actually going to come into your business. And this is something that Carl actually said this time last year. I think it was a week before Team Cup. I think it was the National Wake Up Call, and he said, today, which was February the 1st, he said, I don't want you to invite anybody to the business. I want you to follow up with every single person that you have ever invited into the business and see if they're ready to join you. And so on that day, and in fact, I think for the first 3 days of February, I didn't do any invites. I just got the F on with my follow-ups. I made sure I was on it. I was all over my follow-ups. I was going into my sneak peek groups, finding out who'd been in my sneak peeks who perhaps I hadn't followed up with. Anybody even that I'd invited that I could find in my Instagram thread that perhaps I hadn't tracked because I wasn't there with my business yet, I was following up with them. And that just created the most phenomenal momentum going into February. Obviously, beginning of the month, I just hit the floor. And that's what we all did in our team. And I hit Success Club 36 in February, which I think I've done Success Club 32 since then. But it was without question, because I hit February and I was like, right, we are going for it. I'm going to double it. No questions. It's a month. It is literally a month. And you guys have probably heard me say this before, but that's going to make not just this month, guys. If we've got business builders on this call, which I know we have, that's going to form your business for the next 4 to 6 months to even a year away from now. And I look at my business now, and the way that my business looks, and the reason that it looks the way it does, I can promise you, is that I hit the floor in February. I hit the floor when everybody is into a new year. They've got over January. January is obviously a great month as well, because people are wanting new year, new start, but we have a 5-week month. A lot of us don't have much money, so a lot of people don't have the money there for the challenge packs. You better bet hitting February, it was really interesting. We went out for date night last night. The restaurants were packed because everybody has been waiting for pay for 5 weeks, and everyone is in there. Maybe they've done dry January. But not only that, it obviously goes the other way. You've got people perhaps that have wanted to start fitness journey and they can't because they haven't had the funds to do it in January. So you want to be on it in February, because of course the people that you bring into the business now, whether or not they're discount coaches or coaches who want to work the business, they are going to fall in love with the program. I'm 1,000,000% confident in bar. I know for each of us that's different, but we have quite a few people on this call who are head over heels in love with bar. It's propelling your businesses. Even, I don't know whether Nina's on this call, and I can't see. Yeah, she is. Her confidence, just as an example, there's several examples, but looking at the way that she has changed this program is to me, like it literally blows me away, because her confidence has just gone through the roof. She's doing a sneak peek, she's putting herself out there, she's talking to people. And I'm sure she doesn't mind me saying this, but before she did the bar program, she really wasn't talking about the business at all. And so you know, that is what's driving her, because she's fallen in love with the program. And this comes back to what I was saying last week: fall in love with the program, get the results, whether or not it's you or whether or not it's someone you've brought into your business. They are going to want to do this business in time, I can promise you that. And it is just simply consistency over time, believing in this business, knowing it's not a get rich quick business, but showing up every day. Okay. And just think about, you know, at the beginning of the year, if you're bringing those people into your business now, think about where you're going to be in 6 months from now, which isn't even at the end of 2020. So that, I was just trying to think about, you know, what really made my February. And the fortune is in the follow-up. I know you've heard this in network marketing. It was certainly true of my property business. It's really interesting. Yesterday I was having a conversation with Guy, and Guy's my husband. He runs a really successful, like high-end real estate office in London. And he was saying that he had been talking to his team, and this is why I wanted to talk about it, because I was just talking to him about it. And he said, I was talking to my team about the fact that the fortune is in the follow-up, and Guy's been really successful with his clients and everything else. He's a very successful agent. And it's the fortune is in the follow-up. And I was a successful agent because my fortune was in my follow-up. And so if you're inviting people into the business, guys, and say you're hitting those big numbers, and I'm not saying in February don't hit big numbers on invites. If that's your strategy, go for it. Like, go all in, because it will come to fruition further down the track. But for goodness sake, make sure you're tracking it. And I know for me as a newer starter, and like, I'm going to call the newer starters out because I was that person too, I didn't have a proper tracking system probably for 6 months. And I look at that fact, and I see now how much that has really, really hurt my business this far down the track, because I didn't properly track it. And by tracking it, yes, pen and paper, it will do for now, guys. But the quicker that you get yourself a proper tracking system and you have those funnels for tracking, and I'd suggest looking at Google Streak. If you go into YouTube and look for Google Streak trainings, or even Team Beachbody Streak trainings, there are Streak trainings out there. You do not want to be following up with people and literally flying by the seat of your pants with this business without having a proper tracking system. Because honestly, guys, if you don't have a tracking system, you do not have a business. And I'm calling you out on that today, because if you've not got it in place, your next task for February to really clean up is to ensure that you're respecting your business. Then you're not respecting your business if you don't have a proper tracking system. And I said this last week. Think about it. If you worked in a corporate office and your manager said to you, great, where are we with these people? How are we getting on with them? You know, how are we doing? You would have a funnel of some kind. And if you didn't, your manager would probably be saying, what the heck is going on? You're doing pen and paper. That's not okay. So just call yourself out on that. Yeah, that's amazing. So SJ paid to get her set up by a virtual assistant, and it's really worth it. It cost her 40 quid, and it's the best money she spent this year. And I know we've got some people on this call who are like me, perhaps are like SJ. I'm a red. I'm not really interested in the finer details. I really hate spreadsheets and tracking. It really gives me the heebie-jeebies. And because I'm a red, I like to think I'm right about everything. So it took me ages and actually really hurt my business. So I'm sure, with that being said, because you're in this team, we've probably got people like me on this call, and I want you to call yourself out. And I know it's probably going to make you feel sick, because it made me feel sick at the time. But if you have a proper tracking system, and you are doing, and this is the other thing, like, people, I think sometimes, and I didn't realize this for a long time, even though my background was in real estate. So my background was in like contacting prospects and potential clients, and following up and saying, I've got some of your property, and can I come in, and following up. It still wasn't as good as it is for me today, because I've learned something. And that was something that I don't even know. There's been several coach calls where I've picked this up, but it's absolutely true. If you aren't following up with somebody at least 10 times, you're not effectively executing your business. And it can be no wonder that you're not able to help these people come on board. And I know when people ask me, like, what's my follow-up strategy? You better bet I've got 12 follow-ups with somebody until I let them go. And it doesn't matter if in that whole conversation I haven't had one single reply. If they're still watching my stories, if they're still liking my stuff, and they're still engaging in it, you better bet I'm reaching out to them. And I know this is something that you guys ask, and so I want to cover it. And do just put in the comments as I talk if you've got questions on this, because I know sometimes as newer coaches we're like, I don't know when to reach out and how should I reach out and how much is too much, and we get a bit scared because we're worried that people are going to tell us to get lost, which ultimately sometimes people do. But we know the value of what we have to offer, which is obviously what I covered last week. But what I would say is that if I have somebody that I invite and I don't get a reply and they're watching my stories, I will message them 1 week later. And if I message them 1 week later and they're still watching my stories and all of that, and they're liking my stuff, probably 2 weeks later. Okay, so just gauge it. If you've had a conversation with someone, they've sent you a reply back, then you're going to follow up with them the next day. And then if they don't reply, I'll probably follow up a couple of days later because they've initially responded to me. But I can tell you that there are people in my business right now who have been sent probably 12 follow-ups and I haven't had one single reply. And actually sometimes more than that, because if I can see that they're still watching my stories or they're still liking my stuff and they're still not replying, they are still getting messages from me because they're interested in what I'm doing. They wouldn't be watching what I'm doing if they weren't interested. And I know, like, for some of us, and me included in the start, I was like, well, that's like almost borderline harassment, right? Because we're messaging them and we're not getting a reply, but actually it's not. And you realize that when finally, maybe after the 10th message, they say, thank you so much for not giving up on me. And I actually had a girl this week who I have been speaking to probably since April 2018. So almost 2 years, guys, literally a month after I'd started as a coach. She watched me on Instagram. I've started posting more into my Facebook stories. And I noticed that she started to watch my Facebook stories. Now, she wasn't watching my Instagram one. So great reason, guys, to make sure you're in both. That's something that I've learned really recently. So I'm sharing because I've got double touch points to follow up with people on my posts and people watching my stories. And I reached out to her and I must have messaged her like probably over 15 times. But since she'd started watching my Facebook stories, I thought I'll just reach out to her and see how she is. I haven't spoken to her for about 6 months. I'm ready to get signed up. Great. This bar program sounds amazing. I've had a back injury. Can I do it? And I signed her up. So and this is something I said last week, and I will say it again. If we're feeling icky and uncomfortable about it, remember, it is our duty to share it. They cannot see what's on the other side, and we can. And we should know from the very fact that that person is still watching us, that we have something valuable for them that is going to be of value to them because they're watching us, because they see that value. They wouldn't continue to watch us unless they were seeing value. They would just unfollow us if they didn't like it or they weren't interested. So it's a super simple thing, but it is so easy to get it wrong. And it is so easy to let ourselves off the hook. Okay. And this is like, I'm just going to share this because recently I've had periods where Instagram's been icky and I didn't want to get like full on blocked. So I've had to come out of Instagram. It's made me focus on Facebook. But then I come to my follow-ups. And of course, because I've been out of Instagram, I look at my follow-ups and I go, oh my God, because I date them by the date and it gets completely overwhelming in quotation marks. In my head, I'm telling myself it's overwhelming. And even today, I sat down and I was like, these follow-ups are overwhelming because I just want to be honest and raw, but actually they're not. And if you're that girl, and I'm sure we've got every single person on this call has felt overwhelmed by their follow-ups at some stage, or overwhelmed by the fact they don't have a tracking system. If you're new, that probably is something that's likely to, in quotation marks, overwhelm you. Decide, number one, that it's not going to overwhelm you. And number two, it's the brain likes to work in chunks, in little ways of breaking things down. So what I do is I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 40 done in this next hour. Then I'm going to have a break. Then I'm going to let my Instagram roll. I'm going to do, and just work out how you can do it so you're chunking it down. Because I think sometimes when we look at that task, perhaps, we've been away or we've had a toddler that's been unwell, or, life happens, right? We're not always able to execute the follow-ups on the day that we want to execute them as per our tracking system, if indeed you guys have a tracking system. But just learn to recognize and be okay with the fact that that's going to happen, number one. And number two, when it does happen, choose how you feel about that when you go into that tracking system. But the other thing, and I shared this with Kelly the other week, and she said, like, I've got loads of follow-ups to do. I'm completely overwhelmed. And I said, just get really excited, because actually the fact, if you haven't done your follow-up stages, and I'm sure we've got people who haven't, because again, I'm sure we have people on this call who don't have a proper tracking system. We've all been there. Get excited, because actually, if you're going to dig your teeth into all those follow-ups and you haven't done follow-ups for a while, I can guarantee that one of your next top coaches is going to be within that bulk of the follow-ups. So get excited. You know, I sometimes have some energize. I do a little bit of a like dance. That sounds like I'm completely crazy, but it's a transfer of enthusiasm. And you better bet, like, whether or not you're voice clipping or you're sending a message in your follow-up, if you're not feeling it, your follow-ups are going to fall flat. They're not going to feel the energy. And they're, you know, remember why you were attracted to your coach. What was it in their follow-up that you felt? You probably felt some energy. Okay. And if you're feeling really lackluster and without energy, and you're really dreading doing it and you don't want to do it, people will feel that, and they won't want to join you. So take control of that part of your business, because that is going to propel the outcome. Okay. It's either going to be a great like period of follow-ups, or it's just not going to go well at all and you'll hardly get any replies. And I can guarantee the days where you hardly get any replies is because your energy's down, you're not feeling it. So that first piece, like calling yourself out on your mindset and your energy before you do those follow-ups, guys, is crucial. I genuinely will make or break your business. I promise you that. Kelly's just put, I did a pre-workout dance with Energize before the follow-ups and felt great doing them, or do some manifestation first. I'm still shit at transferring people into street. Got to get on top of that shit. Yeah. So, and that's fine. You know, it's great to be honest. And I think, you know, learn to call yourself out on that stuff. And obviously Kelly knows that, right? So she's calling herself out on that, but let this month be the month where you do not let yourself off the hook, because I promise you it was so interesting doing that call for the UK business builder pages. So can you share like what worked, like how did you win Team Cup, how did your team win? And I was just like, I felt like it was like a 5-minute call, and I felt like it was a 5-minute call because honestly it was so simple. It was just, I'm not letting myself off the hook in February. I'm going all in on February, and I'm not going to be half-assing anything. I'm going to full-ass everything. So like full-ass everything in February, guys. And I promise you, we are going to have the most phenomenal month. You've got teams here. I'm really excited for you guys because I think we've got some people here in teams for Team Cup who you don't know each other. And it's just, you know, remember, this is all about community and team. And be really conscious, with that being said, aside from the follow-ups, what energy are you bringing into your team thread? Like, I'm assuming you've got chat threads. I don't want anyone here bringing bad energy in, okay? If you're having a bad day, maybe go and do your mindset stuff, but please don't bring it into your team, because if you bring that into your Team Cup team, guess what's going to happen? You're going to drive your whole team through the floor. Be really conscious of that and hold yourself responsible for your mindset over this next month. And you might really surprise yourself, because ultimately, I know we go through ups and downs, we all do, but you can decide how you come into that chat thread. And remember, when you're coming into your business, it's your business, okay? It's not a chat with friends. This is your 6 or 7 figure business. So if you're having a bad day, take that somewhere else, deal with it, and come into your business on your A game, as you would if you worked in a corporate office. You wouldn't come into a corporate office and start whinging. So that's the danger with this business. Bring in moaning, whinging, I'm having a tough time. Your team is not going to perform, okay? So really own it and be that energy for everybody. We need that energy for these teams. And I know we have a Team Cup winning team here, whether or not it's our team, your team, I know we can do it, but you need to take that responsibility upon yourself. And as I said, the fortune in the follow-up is huge. Okay. And I suggest, if you don't have a follow-up system set up yet, that you actually, and I don't have this, I'll be honest, because my follow-up system is all set up in Streak and it would take me goodness knows how long to rearrange it. But make sure you've got a tracking system if you're going to set it up, where you have follow-up 1, follow-up 2, all the way through to 12. Okay. And then, you know, when you've hit 12, I haven't heard back from you. If I can help in the future, let me know, that kind of message, and you can put no response. But at least then you're going to feel like you're on it, because you're going to know where you are with these follow-ups. It's huge. I've just seen something. Hold on. I saw that Magda put something earlier on. I'm just trying to look at it. Let me just see. How do I scroll up in here? It's not letting me. Yeah. So Magda put 35 interactions before people buy from you online. And essentially, yes, like if you imagine that your interaction in your message thread is your follow-up, the stories is so crucial, because it's your way of building the numbers of interactions. So of course, if people are seeing you more, they're seeing your face more, you're on your videos more, that counts towards that number, guys. And I know for me, like having been in the business probably the longest here, it comes as no surprise to me that when my months are my best months, it's when I'm on my lives, I'm on my video, I'm in their face, they can see me, I'm not going away. Because again, as Magda's just said, it counts as the interactions. So if you're hiding from that camera because you're not feeling great or for whatever reason, I really want you guys to think about that and think about the fact that actually everybody on this call, we're all here doing what we're doing because we want to help women with this incredible solution that we have, and we're already passionate about it. But unless you start to really be that person, you start to get yourself in front of the camera, I'm afraid it is going to take you one heck of a long time to get those people through that funnel, as compared with if you're showing up in your stories, you're talking, you're doing some lives. Yeah, I'll be honest myself, I haven't done that many lives of late. And that's something that I'm definitely going to be ramping up in Feb. So just really, really think about that and make it about them, not you, and realize that actually, if I can just get over myself a little bit, and I know it's not easy. The first live I ever did, I nearly vomited. It's never easy. You're actually going to be able to help people quicker. Tara, what about people that have never responded to your message but still following you and watch your stories and such? Yeah, that was what I was saying. So sometimes I'll send somebody up to 12 messages, not like in 1 week, but I won't have had one single reply. And after the 12th message of no reply, but they're still liking my stuff and watching my stories, they'll say like, oh yeah, actually I'm interested. And because there's been so much interaction on my part, and obviously that's happened over the passage of time, often those people that you do hit at the 12th follow-up where you haven't had a reply, they're quite quick to convert from that point, from that point onwards. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. And that's why the fortune in the follow-up and having a proper tracking system is crucial, because you can see if you're sending somebody like maybe 5 messages without even having a reply, or maybe you're sending 2. If you don't have a tracking system, guys, you're never going to get up to 12. It's just not going to happen. You just don't have enough pages in a book to do that. So do you see why that follow-up, like whether it's Streak, a lot of this team use Streak. I'm not sure whether anybody uses anything else. I know some of us use Excel. Hold on, Tara, do you follow up and just address that they've never responded? Hold on, that's just gone there. So yeah, so like often I'll say like, I can see you're keeping up with my stories. If people are keeping up with my stories and they're not replying, I will usually refer to the fact that I'm messaging them because they're watching my stories, because I want them to see that I'm messaging them, because I can see they're keeping up with my stories. I'm grateful for them doing that, but are they interested in the bootcamp or the coach opportunity? So it's never saying the same thing. I would never send the same thing to somebody, particularly if you're messaging them several times. It's always something different. The other thing that I want to share, and it is to do with follow-up, but it's very specific to this moment in time with a particular program, is, and this is working like absolute like gold dust for me, where maybe I've had someone in a sneak peek and I've followed up with them on the sneak peek, but they're still watching me. I then say, oh, I know you're in our sneak peek, but actually we have the most incredible bar program. I've actually got a sample workout. We are loving it and getting the most phenomenal results. If I send it through for you to try, do you want to give it a go? And often they're like, yes, but they haven't responded to the coach part. So I'm kind of working out through the process of elimination that, hey, this person's not replying on the coaching, but they're still watching my stories. So maybe they're interested in my bar program. So I'm then saying, hey, and it's reciprocity. If you're giving somebody something for free, they're like to say, yeah, great, and they take it. So it's the reciprocity is to do with the whole sales process, and you're much more likely to convert somebody when you're giving them something, they're giving you something back, more likely to give you something back rather. So I've converted a lot of people into coaches, some into customers, I'll hasten to add, by sending across the bar sample workout. And that is the way that I'm doing my follow-ups at the moment. So when I'm not getting replies on the sneak peek, but I know they're still watching me, I'm coming at it from another angle, because perhaps they're those people who are too scared to coach, but they're interested, they like the look of the program. You know, if you're someone on here who is totally in love with bar, you're getting the most phenomenal results, I implore you to be adopting that same strategy, because it's really, really working for me. Anna, I think I told you, I had someone who got asked when I asked her if she wanted to know more about coaching, followed up, this was weeks ago, and she's still watching my stories today. So my point is, I don't get offended when people say no, and she may say yes. Like, yeah, exactly. So, you know, if she got asked about coaching, she may be somebody, I know you're not doing the bar, but you're obviously showcasing like bits of my bar, to say like, let me know if you want to learn more about the programs we follow. I've got a few sample workouts. If I sent them through, do you want to give them a go? I know you said you weren't interested in the coaching, but this is different. And I'll often point that out, because to us, it's really obvious what's what, right? So to us, we know what coaching is and we know what the boot camp is. But to the general public watching us, often they don't really get that, and they don't see that. They don't see there's two different opportunities. And for me in particular, often they just see the business, because I'm talking about the business a lot, and they don't realize there's enough. So I'll often, it's almost like we have to pretend that these people, we're speaking a different language and they don't understand it. So making it really cut and dry is really important, because to us it makes total sense, but to them it may well not. So yeah, like I would just say, like, takeaways from today: call yourself out. Are you properly tracking? Do you have a proper tracking system? Number one. Okay. And if you don't, I want you to get off this call tonight and sort that out, because I'll tell you, the longer that you kind of procrastinate over it, the longer it's not going to happen, the longer you're going to really be hurting your business. And I learned that the hard way. So do it for your team. If you're not doing it for yourself, you're in Team Cup, like, your team needs you to have a proper tracking system, and make sure that you are following up with people at least 12 times before you say no response. Okay. And I'm not saying follow up with them 12 times in a week, because that is going to drive anybody crazy. I'm saying making sure that you're following up with people if they are clearly still watching your stories or liking your stuff. And it might be that you don't follow up with someone for a while, and then suddenly somebody who is in your tracking system suddenly likes something, and you can go into tracking system, type in their name, and be like, I see, I've spoken to this person in the past. They're back in my, they're back in my business. If someone's watching your stories and they're liking your stuff, this is what Hayley Christian says, you better bet you need to be reaching out to them, because how dare you let someone walk into your business and not recognize them? And I love the way she said that, because it's so true. Like, they're walking into our business for a reason, and we need to make sure that we're messaging those people, and that if they're continually watching our stuff and when they're not replying still, that strategically we're reaching out to them because they're interested. And then over and above that, be really conscious of your energy that you're bringing into those follow-ups. I promise you, you can even fake it. It's like, it is all about personal development. It ultimately all comes down to that. I know you guys are bored to tears of me telling you this, but ultimately the entire business is 99% mindset. Okay. So if you're not on your mindset for your follow-up, as Kelly said, like, go and do some PD, go and like jump around, play your favorite song, have some energize, whoop-de-woo. Like, I'm going to enroll my next coach in this follow-up session. I've got so many follow-ups. I know they're out there. Just really get on your like energy, and people are going to feel it, and they're going to be like, I want some of whatever that girl's got. I don't know what it is, but I need to be a part of it. And that is the way that you want your energy and your stories to flow. They don't want to see that you're knackered and you're tired and you've had no sleep and you're feeling really down. And yeah, I think it's important to share that stuff, but I think you need to be really strategic about that, because again, at I think it was at Leadership, one top coach was saying, you want to ensure that when people are coming into your business page and they see your business, that they're feeling endorphins and all of that oxytocin, which are actually hormones, not oh God, I can't remember which hormones it is. It's like dopamine, all the depressive ones. Because I'll tell you, if people are feeling that and they feel it quite regularly from your page, they're not going to be interested in your business, because they're not going to feel the high energy, and they're going to be like, I don't like the way that this page I don't like the way this girl makes me feel. And so they're not going to want to come into your business. So just be really conscious of that as well. That was just like mind blowing to me. And I have a completely different day if I start with PD in the morning. Yes. I mean, I could talk about this till the cows come home. You know that. Like, I yesterday didn't do any PD and I felt all off, and I came into my business today and I felt all off, and then I did PD most of the morning and I felt amazing. So we all need to do it. None of us are better than personal development, and if you're not doing it, I can guarantee your business won't be successful. Full stop. You need to do it every day. If you want to see success in this business and you want to be a diamond coach by the end of March, and you want to be on our retreat on the 18th of April, I'm expecting that you guys are doing that every morning without fail. And if you're not, you need to call yourself out on it now and work out why you're not doing it. Self-sabotage. Are there any questions on follow-ups or specific messages or strategies, or maybe there's another coach in the team that's got something they want to add that's really working for them with their follow-ups, or something I haven't covered? You unmute yourself if you want to add anything. No. Louise, I think I may be coming off as too intense. I mean, I'm too intense. Love me or hate me, that's just the way I am. Yes, Imogen, I learned this from you. Always right. Let me know either way. Yeah. So that thanks, Imogen, for saying that. This is something that really takes the pressure off, and actually most of my messages say this. And actually to Tara's point, when you're messaging somebody quite a few times and you're not getting a reply, you need to be really careful of how the tone of your message comes off, because if it sounds like salesy or like not heartfelt and just like you've sent it to a million people, they're really going to hate it. It's going to be a real turn off. So I'm naturally a really courteous, well-mannered person in the way that I am with my manners. And so that translates with the way that I am in my messaging, particularly if I haven't had a reply from someone. So I will recognize the fact they haven't replied, but I'll just say, I wanted to reach out because we have this incredible new program. I just wondered if you'd like me to send you through the sample workout so that you can give it a try. And then, as Imogen just said, please don't worry if not, just let me know either way. Please don't worry if not, just let me know either way. And that can go pretty much on any message you send anybody, an invite or a follow-up. But this is what Ashley Molstad says, and I love it. Yeah, giving them an out, because it doesn't make them feel like, it's like, we can sometimes, to people, particularly if you're somebody like me who can be quite overbearing, they can feel cornered. Okay. And so the way to counter that is to give them an out and to soften your tone. And I often soften my tone because my tone naturally, I know, can be quite harsh. So just be really conscious of that. And it is trial and error, but I think that giving them an out will work for pretty much every single person. I think that kind of, please don't worry if it's not of interest, just let me know either way. Because actually, really, we don't want them, like, I remember saying this once and Donna never forgot it. You don't want a constipated funnel, right? You don't want people stuck in the middle of your tracking system, okay? You want to know whether or not they're in or they're out. So actually, please don't worry if it's not of interest, just let me know either way. Well, that's doing you a favor too, because hopefully then they're going to say no, or actually yes, but I'm not ready. So no constipated funnels. And that's a good way to stop that one. And that's something that Romy, who wrote the book Get Over Your Damn Self, and again, if we've got like newer coaches on this call who haven't listened to that book, it's mind-blowing. And actually more seasoned coaches, I need to go back and listen to it, because I know when I was a newer coach, I took so much of my strategy from that book from a professional perspective, and it is amazing what she says, and like actually calls me out on stuff I'm not doing. So I definitely need to listen to it again. Give them an out, Marbs. Is that what I said in Marbs? Oh. I was like, what is give them an out, Marbs? Yes, Claire. What Claire said is so crucial as well, and something that works amazingly. And I know Samantha Homer in Run Wild Hustle and Shine, she's really good with the follow-up, and that's something she does. So she says, is it okay if I follow up in X number of weeks? Or even just saying, if somebody says I'm interested but not for now, then not being too afraid to just say, perfect, when's a good time for me to follow up? Is 2 weeks good? Or you could suggest a time frame, or just wait for them to tell you. But actually, I think even putting a time frame into their minds and then getting a yes or no reply is great, because then you just go into a tracking system, you've agreed with them that you're going to follow up in 2 weeks, and there you have it. They can't get annoyed then when you follow up at the time that's been prior agreed. And it's showing them that you are executing a proper professional business. You've asked if you can follow up with them in 2 weeks, they've said yes, and you're following up, you're keeping up your end of the promise, which again counts for a lot. The amount of times people say to me, thank you so much for not giving up on me, and thank you so much for following up and seeing that this is of interest, but it just wasn't the right time. Because it shows that you're respecting your business and that you do run a business, and that you don't just invite someone and then drop them in the ocean. That's really icky. Yeah, that's why you need a follow-up system, because people will find that icky if you follow up and then boom, gone, on to the next. It's not nice. Well, I've kept you on here for long enough. Oh, hold on, Kelly. Someone said about doing share a cart, say it expires the next days, and then you can check that they've seen it, and if they haven't, delete it. Delete the share a cart. Oh, I see. So they've got no option to purchase. Then they'll end up watching your stories again. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. Hadn't ever thought of doing that. So you send them a share a cart. You say it will be available for 2 days, and then it expires. Is that what you say?
Yeah, so somebody in our team cup team, can't remember who it was, she said send it and put on the message that it expires in X amount of time. But usually we'll have an enrolment close off anyway. And then you can go in, look and see if they've looked at it. And then if they have, follow up and say it's expiring tomorrow. If they haven't, it's expiring tomorrow. And then make sure that you actually, if they've not purchased it, delete it after that day so it goes and it doesn't just sit in their inbox, so they can, because they can go back and look. I've had that before, it's just sat there and then all of a sudden it jumps to the top of my thingy that they've looked at it, but they've still not done anything. So it gives you another way to say, right, okay, my next date is this, shall I come back to you like in a couple of weeks? So it just keeps
that's a good
fresh,
idea.
stale.
Does that work well for that coach that's doing that?
Yeah,
that's interesting. Thanks for that. I might try it.
Hopefully that makes sense.
Perfect. Was there anything else anyone wanted to ask or add or no? Well, Donna is going to lead our team call next week. I feel like the sound of my own voice is just getting like really boring, and I think it will be really nice for everyone else to like have a different voice and have a like different input. So I'm really excited for Donna to be bringing that call next week. She's stuck on a train. She was going to do it today, but I think she's been at circuit training all day. So it'll be nice for us next week. But seriously, guys, good luck with your team cups. And as I said, like, be really conscious of your energy, like call yourself out on your energy. I promise you that energy and the follow-up, it will make or break your month. Should we do a boomerang? Seeing as I can actually get on the thing now. Right. Are we ready? Hold on, my screen's really dirty on my phone. 3, 2, 1. Perfect. Right, if I've got my team cup on here, team, do you mind just staying on for a little bit? And thanks for being on the call, guys, and good luck.